exactly kids. I'ma pass it to my nigga Yang. Not exactly kids, but I'm still clowning though. This is our time, shawty, you already know. Open your ears, homie, as I let it.
Trash. That's old.
Oh, spicy.
Well, looks like we are back for a very, very special episode. And today we actually have one of our other co-hosts, Jazzy. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
And everybody already know me. And today we're going to do a bit different because Sharp Bait is not on the show today. So we have Isaiah on the table.
Yeah, so they kind of stuck me in the background.
Yeah.
They didn't want the black man to be up front.
Nope, no, we did not.
Yank has a problem with bonnets, and I got to wear my bonnet today.
Nobody want to see that, Bonnet Jackson.
He's
Anyway, welcome back to the Not Exactly Kids podcast. And like I said, today we're going to do stuff a little bit different. So to cue you guys in, earlier today after I got back from my bike ride, I was in the living room with my mother. And then
Hold on. I got to hit you with the Jamal. How much was the bike? That expensive-ass bike? He don't curse, but this is how he talks to...
You don't have to be Shark Bait.
I feel like I do.
No, you don't have to be Shark Bait.
I feel like if I'm in the seat,
You don't have to be Shark Bait.
I got to treat you as he does.
No, stop. We're going to be arguing the whole show.
I mean, that's usual for us.
It's true. It's winter
But you
time.
know what's crazy? On the show, we actually don't argue.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, not like huge arguments like we do off the show.
That's true. We censor it.
Yeah, we don't give you guys the full depth of the relationship.
They will never make it.
But I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah. So back to it. I was in the living room, and then I had a pretty deep conversation with my mother at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is never a good time to have a deep conversation. But she asked me, she said, "Sweetie Pie." She calls me Sweetie Pie, by the way.
Oh,
That is
She was
so cute.
Stop. She said, "Sweetie Pie, let me ask you a question. Do you consider somebody who is mixed race to be, if we're talking about, say, black or Hispanic or whatever, to be black, or will you consider them mixed race?" So I thought about it for a second, and I said to myself, well, for me, I see them as being mixed race, but I think what it really boils down to is whatever side that they actually, I would say, identify with most. And by that, I mean culture-wise. So if you're black and, say, Puerto Rican, but you spend most of your time with Puerto Rican family in the Puerto Rican culture, you will identify more with being Puerto Rican. What about you guys? How do you guys see that?
I agree, but I feel like mixed race people who are mixed with black, when it comes down to it, no, you're black. Like, I feel like when it comes down to like certain jobs or like let's bring like the whole police brutality thing in.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gets pulled over. Somebody could be my skin color, but could be black, and let's still use the Puerto Rican thing.
Okay.
You could say like, "Oh, I'm Puerto Rican." They're not looking at you as like a Spanish person. They're not looking at you as Puerto Rican. You're black. Like, look at your skin, the color of your skin. So I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of people, now who are mixed race, I feel like they choose a side, like you said. But I feel like when it boils down to it, if you have any ounce or any lick of black, you are black.
Okay. How about you?
well, to be honest with you, I look at it from, like, in my opinion, I look at it from the genetic standpoint. So, and even just a math standpoint, if you look at their parents, and let's say your dad is your dad's half black and half something else, and you have kids, you're a quarter of what your dad is and whatever your mom is. So if your mom's majority black, then you're a quarter of that other race. You're all black because your mom is all black. It's a fractions thing. But the one thing that you said that kind of baffled me was that you're allowing them to pick. You don't in my opinion, you can't pick. When you're mixed race, you have the best of both worlds. You can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna choose this side, because then what that means is you also have the opportunity to choose the other side as well whenever need be. So let's say that you're African American and you're white. That means just because I've been hanging around with black people, I'm like, but I get pulled over by the cops this one time, I can use my white card because I'm allowed to flip flop. Because I'm allowed to choose. You shouldn't be allowed to choose. You are what you are. If you're both races, you're both races. To me, you have the opportunity that a lot of people don't have, and you have the opportunity to understand two sides of a similar coin. That's how I look at it.
I have something to say. So I've been hearing stories about mixed race people, and for example, we're still going to stick to like because I know this happens a lot in like the Spanish community. Like even like with my grandmother, when she was younger, my grandmother's mom, dark skin, like I want to say could be darker than Zaya, short like me, but very dark skin, green eyes, and she spoke fluent Spanish. So when they would go out, and then like my grandmother, she's light skinned, she's lighter than me. When they would go out, the community that they lived in Newark, there was like a lot of Spanish families. So they would always talk about like my grandmother's family until like her mom came out and started speaking Spanish to them and started like, they're like, oh, like she's Spanish, like she know what she's talking about. And a lot of people came to her because they respected her, because it was like, oh, she's a mixed race person. She doesn't like, oh, well, today I'm going to be on the Spanish side, but tomorrow I'm going to be black. And then a lot of people, I want to say, like stories that I've heard of Spanish people, a lot of them are like racist within themselves. But if they have a family, they have a child with like a black, let's say a black man, and they have a baby, and for some reason the family doesn't work out or whatever the case may be, and they raise the child and they're raising the child as their race, whatever, if they're Puerto Rican, Mexican, whatever the case may be, and they like sometimes belittle black people.
And we're going to put a short pause on.
And then also like certain parents, they, like I said, will belittle black people, or even like people who may have white mothers. I know if y'all heard, oh, mixed race kids who grew up with a white mother are different from mixed race kids who grew up with a black mother. Have y'all heard that? Because I have. Like it's I feel like it's different because like certain I don't know why or what it is. If a white woman was to have a child with a black man, but say for some reason they like give off racist vibes, and they want to make sure like, okay, sweetheart, I just want to let you know you are white. Like you're a white child, instead of educating their child and be like, listen, you are biracial, you are white, but you also are black. You need to learn black history and educate yourself. And a lot of people who are mixed race don't get taught that. So I feel like that is definitely a problem, because that's when it comes to the whole picking sides thing. Because it's like, okay, my parents never taught me about like my black family side or my black history. So growing up, all I know was, you know, the ethnicity or like the normal white people thing or the normal Spanish people thing. So when I grow up and somebody says like, are you fully this, that, and third? It's like, oh no, I'm half black, but I don't know any type of black history. So that's how they're like choosing a side instead of like, okay, I'm mixed race, but I like this side better, so I'm gonna just go with this. I just feel like it's with the parents. It starts with the parents.
So what I'm gathering from you guys, you're pretty much saying that if somebody is mixed race, they should be taught that they are mixed race, and it should be equal, I would say, history or whatever on both sides. So if you're Puerto Rican and say Irish, you should be taught that yes, you are Irish, This is your Irish heritage on this side. But also, you are Puerto Rican. This is your Puerto Rican heritage on this side. Embrace them both rather than picking and choosing wherever you see fit that will benefit you at that certain moment or whatever like that, right?
Yeah, when the little baby come up to you and be like, "Mommy, Daddy, what am I?" You be like, "You're a mutt."
Wouldn't say that to my kids.
You're a mutt. Got the best of both
My
worlds.
mom, she used to be called that. That's very sad.
I'm just saying.
That's funny.
I will not call that shit to my kids. But
That's
okay,
not bad.
so let me pose this to you guys then. Since we're talking about race and ethnicity or whatever like that, right? What is race? Because from my understanding, whatever, whenever you ask somebody what is race, okay, they'll start breaking down, well, race is, if you're black, you have this, you have that, or, if you're Jewish or Caucasian, this. But
Caucasian.
yes, Caucasian.
You said Caucasian.
I did? My bad. Sorry. Caucasian. Gotta fix my speech.
Say.
Thank you for correcting me on that. But
bitch.
to me, a lot of times it seems like what they're really talking about is ethnicity and culture, I would say. So what is exactly race? Because when you ask them, well, if that's race, then what are we? Because technically we are the human race. And the human race, last time I checked, consists of 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, a lungs to breathe, and other organs that make us human. So if we're all human race, what starts to create that segregation
Well, even if
between
you say
different
that,
other things?
Even if you say that, you kind of got to go deeper into it, because if you're just saying 2 eyes, a mouth, ears, and legs, a horse has 2 eyes, 2 ears, a mouth, and a leg. A cow has 2 eyes, 2 ears, a mouth, and a leg.
Mm-hmm.
So is it? I don't know the actual term. I don't want to use it, but it just means that we walk on 2 legs. I think that kind of defined. But monkeys walk on 2 legs. I don't know. It becomes a difficult conversation.
So what is race?
Oh,
I mean, if I was to answer it honestly, I'd just say it's the social construct to build walls between us, is to allow one specific person or being to feel as though they're better from somebody else by picking one point of them. So if I'm sitting here saying, if I was the person that invented race, I'm not all people, but I'm a white person. To make people feel belittled or to make people feel as though they're less than, I'm going to now have them classify themselves into a category which will either can help them progress or help them degress. Because if you put on, like they used to say, I don't know if y'all were ever told this, but I was told that when you're growing up and you get a job application and you use your name, like a name like mine is Isaiah. So there's, all types of races. I've met so many different races with the name Isaiah, black, white, Hispanic, all different. But other, because they won't be able to tell what race you are by then, because sometimes if you put that you're black on a job application, they may not pull your application as quickly as somebody who's if you're white.
Okay. All right. I'm glad that we're actually on this subject right now. Speaking of the application, because like you said, when you have on applications, what are the main ones that you see? You see Caucasian. You'll see African American / black, black, if they have it. You see Hispanic, Latino, and usually it'll be like other
Alaskan or Native American.
Alaskan, Native American,
something.
or sometimes other, depending on which application that the thing goes on, right? Mm-hmm. Now,
I put other.
you put other because you feel that, somebody look at it, they're going to prejudge you before even getting to know you, right?
Yeah, that plus I'm a different breed.
You are. I'm not going to, I had a joke lined up. I'm not going to say the joke. But to get back to the topic, whatever like that. Say this, for instance, say you meet, somebody who's of the white skin, right? You play with me. No, I'm serious. Play with me.
It's just the white skin part.
I know, but because I have to say it this way because I didn't know how else to bridge it. So you see somebody else of the whiter skin, right? Everything about them, you'll probably say that this person is Caucasian, right? He looks white. You say he's Caucasian. And then you ask him, it's like, you're Caucasian, right? And then he'll be like, no, I'm Jewish.
He's white.
You think Jewish people are white?
low key, I think Jewish are really black people, and then I don't know how Jews turn into white people, but we're not gonna go. We're not gonna go into
We'll
that.
get into that at a different
We're
time
not
because
gonna-
I can explain that one. I can tell you that
I
one.
personally don't know, but from what I was told, Jews were actually black people.
They were of a darker complexion.
However,
It's
that's like his ethnicity is a Jew, but he is a Caucasian.
ethnicity is more
But
Jewish
see,
is
then
more
that's a
of
religion.
and
That's what
like a
I-
culture
yeah.
True.
upbringing.
Yeah, true,
That's you
true,
see where I'm
true,
saying where it's like, well,
true.
what
Yeah.
really is race? When we're talking about race, are we really discussing exactly what is race, or we're talking about ethnicity, or like culture? Is what we're
Because
going
even
by.
if you meet someone, I don't know, let's go into the whole dark skin, light skin, black people.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could be light skin. You're like, oh yeah, are you like black? Like, oh no, I'm from the islands or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like,
Well, you look.
oh, well, you're very light skinned. You're very pale.
But the crazy part about it is this is the only place that does that. Like if you go overseas or like you go anywhere else, they literally are just asking they'll literally say, what's your ethnicity? Like, what are you? Where are you from? They won't just sit here and say, like, are you black? No, they're gonna because
Yeah, a lot
there's
of
so many
countries.
difference.
Like when I went to Bermuda, like somebody who lived there, I think we were like lost or something, and the guy, he was just asking us like, oh yeah, where are you guys traveling from? Like, where are you from? Because they get a lot of tourist people or whatever. They never said, oh yeah, what's your background? Like, are you black? Are you from here? They just ask, where are you from? I don't know if that's because like they know we're not from Bermuda, but I've noticed like traveling out of the country, they don't just automatically like, are you white? Or like, are you Spanish? They just, oh, where are you traveling from? Like, so they know like, okay, you're from America, or I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
it makes a lot of
sense. You make sense. You definitely make sense.
But see, that's what I mean. It's society's construct to make one person feel better than the next person. Because I'm asking you that question because I want to know. But the real question is, why does it matter? Why do we care so much? Like, what has been implanted in us that makes us care about this question so much?
Because the white man.
Okay, we're not just.
I can't say that.
You can say that because that's your opinion. It's the white man, but
I'm not gonna give it that.
in all actuality, it's all over the place. Like it's everybody. Even if you go across why does it matter where I'm from if I'm here in front of you? You know what I mean? It's just it's something that we've picked up over time and over the years where it just makes everything it's an easy question to answer, but a harder question to understand. You get what I'm saying? Like it's easy to ask the question, but then when you're asked what's race, it's hard to understand what race actually is.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's one of the things I actually was talking to my mom about, because I was like, all right, Mom, well, let me pose this question to you, right? You take Africa, for instance, right? When you think of Africa, you think of, people who look like me, people look like you think dark-skinned people usually. But now when you go to South Africa, you have a different abundance of people. Like I know for a fact, I met a couple of people who are South African, blonde hair, blue eyes. If they didn't tell you that they were from South Africa, you'd think, oh, this person's white. No,
And
I'm
that's
South
actually
African. And you ask them, like,
common,
I'm
too.
South African. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, it'd be confusing as hell because you see, a person that's just as dark as me talking British, and it's just like,
it's like, well, I didn't really expect
Or
it.
a black person from like that, from London or something like that, that has like ginger hair, hazel eyes or something.
that's like albinos. I didn't know albinos was a thing till he told me. Till Black
Yeah,
Lightning, I was like,
yeah.
albino. I ain't never seen an albino. I was like, what?
You got to get out more. You got to get out more.
Put it this way: have you seen an albino where we live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Plenty.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 albino kids that used to live in Plainfield. I remember specifically because it was a girl and it was a boy.
I think I remember the boy, but that was like a long time ago. So it was
I
just
remember
like,
them very, very, very specifically. Oh, don't break nothing
Yeah, I
now.
remember a little girl
See?
I met, and she was albino. So what would you, when someone says like, what are you? What race are you? Are you going to say you're African American or are you going to say you're black?
I'm going to say I'm black because I'm not, from Africa. I'm just not. I might have like African, bloodlines that run through me, but nowadays everybody have some different bloodline from somewhere else, unless you're 100% did not mix between races or whatever like that. But that's
so then here's my question: wouldn't we all be considered mixed race then?
Technically speaking, we kind of like are if we have all these different mixed bloodlines, whatever like that. But we always don't really identify that, and that's why I was talking about the whole culture thing, because I feel like a lot of the times when it comes specifically to the black race or whatever like that, it seems like a lot of people who are mixed race and they have that black, I'm not saying all of them do, but a few select of them or whatever like that, they will try to deny that they're black, but they'll claim some other race. But if you substitute the black American and you substitute in like Caribbean or whatever like that, or Brazilian, where the culture or whatever is a lot more vibrant, it's a lot more, I guess more unique. It seems like they'll be quick enough to claim, oh well, I'm that too, rather than just being like, oh no, I'm this and then I'm black. That's what I'm saying. Like for me, a lot of the times, what's really being asked is like, what, culture, whatever.
What you repping, cuz?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Like, what you repping, cuz?
But I feel like saying you're black is like, I honestly forgot, but I was taught this in middle school, but I kind of like forgot what she was really saying. But it was kind of like if you, she ran around the room and was like, "Are you like?" What are you? And then like a lot of people were saying, oh, African American, and she'll write it down. African American. Some kids would say they're black. Some people say African American. So then she was like, I will identify myself as black because if you go to my roots, my mother is this, but my father is this, and his father is this, and his mother is this. And then like, going up the tree is like, well, we're all, as you can see, as I'm going up, is very mixed race. However, my skin tone and the dominant gene or whatever is black. I don't know if it's gene, but is black. That's what I am. That's what I identify as, because if you look up my family tree, I'm very diverse. However, my skin color, my hair texture, my social background, my ethnicity, it all leads back to being black. So I was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Instead of saying African American, because a lot of people will be very, oh, so you're African and you're just in America. Like that's how a lot of people take it if you're African American. But saying you're black is like, or black American is like, okay, you could be, maybe you're multi-race, but you're black, or identify as black, but you're born in America.
So my question to your teacher would have been, so because most of my family was black, and the other majority was of other races, but what if that other race was majority white? Then how do you specify which gene is the dominant gene? Because that's my question. Because if she's sitting here saying that if all my family side of my family was black, but if the other race happened to just be like half and half, like her dad was this, mom was this, but it always had like a white or another race.
Then yeah, I would still say she will identify as black, but she'll just be like, I'm biracial, white and black.
Okay.
But like
that
leads back to the same thing, how I feel. Like if you're biracial and you have a lick of black in you, you are black.
Okay.
Even if it's been like removed or whatever, say like you had like an ancestor or whatever that was black, right? And then everybody else was different races or whatever. So when you came out, you don't look black or whatever. Will you still say that they're black even though their skin color doesn't suggest that?
Yes. Because there's a lot of people, like that just goes with genetics. There's a lot of people who would have black parents or maybe black grandparents, but somehow they cross with, different races or whatever, and they have kids, and their kids may come out bright skin, blue eyes, blonde hair, but they have a black father. So it's like, because I don't look black, am I considered white? Knowing that my father is a black man. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if I don't know, I just love black people, so I just feel like if you have any type of black in you are black. Just like Spanish people, some are hip to the program, but a lot of us are like, I would consider it as like first cousins to black people. Like a lot of them are. Seriously,
I'm just saying, it's the first cousin.
I really feel that way. Like
white people who is the aunt you don't want here.
Stop.
But I feel it.
Aunt Pearl's coming.
Stop.
I think my food is outside now. But I feel that way. Just like with certain Spanish people, like you will look at them like there's a lot of Mexican, Panamanian people, who Dominicans. They look like us, but they don't talk like us. And it's just like, okay, your hair is very kinky and coily, and your skin. I've met a lot of Spanish people who are actually, I've met people that are darker than me. It's like spoke fluent Spanish. And I'm like, what the heck are you saying? Which leads me back to like my great grandmother. I've never met her though, but it's like you never know. Just because, for example, you could have a blonde, blue hair, white skinned person who's from like some island that we never heard of, but it's like, because you look this way, I'm gonna call you white, or I'm gonna consider you as a white person because of that. No, like let's go into your history. Like, what is your mom? What is your father? What are your grandparents?
See, I'm glad you're saying that, because now that disposed me to this, right? Okay, so going off of that or whatever, let's take some a different abundance of people, right? Of the darker skin. We do know that there are some Indians who come out very dark like us. I've seen them with my own eyes. It's thing.
I have
there's
too.
no-
All the
okay,
time
right?
at work.
And then let's say we take
Motherfuckers.
some, Cuban people. There are some Cubans who come out dark like us.
Dominicans too.
Same thing with Dominicans, same thing with Brazilians or whatever like that, right? Okay, you saying black, right? Now let's just pluck out the Indian guy, for instance, right? Not one person in his entire, family tree or whatever like that mated with a black woman or somebody black, African black at all. And yet they still have the dark skin like us, right? Mm-hmm. Would you still say to them, you're black? Or would you say that they're Indian based off the color of the skin alone? See? You see? You see?
That's a little tricky, but in my head, I could be very ignorant, but I feel like, I feel like Indian, Native Americans we're black. However, I really don't want to sound ignorant, because
It's not something
more-
ignorant. It's your
We're
opinion.
discussing it.
But-
There's really no right or wrong. It's like whatever
But
you think. And
also, it's just like, okay, if they're just like Indian, whatever. That also could come from like how do I want to say, like a global thing. Like, for example, we're on the East Coast, like the East. Now, say West Coast people, for example, let's just use the U.S. We're not even going to use like the whole globe, because we know certain countries or whatever, like in the continent, they are darker because the sun, like they get
The location
more,
of the equator.
yeah, closer to the equator. They get more sun than us. They're more melanin than us. And certain places, like maybe like Germany or whatever, they don't get it. So, or in like white people, they cannot get a lot of melanin in them because that's how they're just genetically programmed, in my opinion.
but what about
But
Australia?
I feel like
Australia's down there. It's hot. It's right by the equator. It's right on there. And a lot of
Australia? I feel
Australian
like
people
Australia-
are white.
I feel like
I thought it
Australia
was a
was
little bit
like
below
very
it.
cold. No,
No,
Australia, no.
no, hell no.
I never knew that.
Hell to the no. Australia, no.
Australia gets hot. It gets hot down there.
It's like Arizona.
Wow, okay.
No, we don't speak of Arizona. It's crazy over there. They're
I
going through
never
it.
knew that. I thought it gets like when it's hot, it's like us, and then when it gets cold, it gets real cold. But yeah,
No,
I
I
don't
know
know.
it's down
I
there.
just feel like
But yeah, but do you see how it gets pretty tricky
yeah,
with
that
it?
is very tricky because
like,
I
well,
feel like
what is
I
it?
am Indian,
That's why I said.
However, if you are not like, I don't know,
But that's
is
why
this goes into this whole black and white thing. Like, if you're not a certain color, people are not going to look at you like as something else that you're not.
And that's why I
like-
guess that's where I agree. That's what kind of
the
where I agree with you in the
statement
front.
where I
Yeah,
said,
like it's
easy
decided.
to answer, but it's hard to understand. Like when
Yeah.
you're explaining it, it's difficult to understand, but it's an easy question to just flat out answer. And another thing that I usually notice is that so many people, like with what Jazz was saying, how like people say how her teacher was like, oh, well, because of the color of my skin and, you know, different traits. But the thing about it is we've been programmed to answer that way. We've been programmed to think that way. And it's not
Yeah.
just us as a people, it's everybody as a people. Because you have this trait, because you have that trait, because you look like this, because you do this.
You are
this-
granted some
you are-
of these benefits.
yeah.
You are granted some of these
But in
you know,
actuality,
disadvantages and everything. I get it.
yeah, but in actuality, we're all the same. It's just a genetic thing. Like if that's the case, then hey, look, listen, we monkeys.
I don't believe that. However, I feel like black people
don't
were
believe
here
that.
But
first.
but think about it like this: a monkey, not black people. I'm talking about people in general. Like if monkeys don't sit there and go around like, hey, look at that gorilla, or hey, look at that chimpanzee. No, if a monkey see another monkey and it smell a monkey butt, it's a monkey. If I look at it,
I don't think so.
I'm just saying, it's not like they're just going around pinpoint like, we can't understand, so they may do it. But I'm just,
I would say they may, and we just,
we just
never
don't
know.
that'd be some fucked up
speak
shit.
monkey.
Like, look at that big ass gorilla over there.
I don't speak monkey.
Right.
Yeah, true. I mean, but to me, it's just a thing of we
If you
can't be
speak monkey, let us know.
If you speak monkey, you need to talk to somebody. Because who raised you? But just
Fucking Tarzan.
just the fact of like everybody's so quick to want to say the color of my skin. Like that's basically everybody's first answer is the color of my skin. And then you have people that go off of like people choose what they want to go off of. Some people choose to go off of religion. Some people choose to go off of the color of their skin. Some people choose to go off of their culture, because you can have somebody that sits there and like I've met a few, Caucasian people that'll sit there and I'll have a conversation with them and be like, ask them the question, "What are you?" They'll say, "Man, I'm black." Right? And they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm black."
Hell to the no.
Because they feel seriously, they'll say it.
Don't knock them down. Yeah, let us hear them.
And they'll sit here and say, because I, feel more for the black culture. Like I've grown up in the culture. I feel the culture. I've seen what goes on in the community, and they're closely correlated to it. But they're not, because we'll look at it as black people will be like, but you're not though. Both your parents are white. But it's just like, but if you can, if everybody else can pick and choose, why can't they pick and choose to say that they're black? Listen, to me, however you answer the question is however you answer the question. I don't give a damn. Just don't call me the N-word. Because if you call me the N-word, then I'm going to slap the crap out of you.
I'm glad.
The hard ER.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
hell.
No, even the GA. Yeah, I'm a little.
This
like
is why I'm glad we're actually having this conversation, because going off of what the hell you just said, my mother also brought up that point. She just says, when it comes to black people, right, we are more open, right, to accepting, other people, right? If you're white,
I agree.
hold on.
No, I actually agree. I agree.
Hold on.
I don't know if I agree with that
No,
one.
because I'm gonna get you into this
I
shit, right?
agree.
We are a bit more accepting of, other people. Say if you have, and we're always going back to black and white race. You have a white person, right? All right. This white person was not raised in, the riches or whatever like that. Raised pretty much just like us, from the same town, just like us, went to the same school, just like us, known them all our lives, just like us. We even know one, talking about white Mike, right? We accept them. We won't say, yo, you black. We might not, some of us might say that. I won't say that. I'm like, no, you're still white. but we accept you within this, right? Versus other, cultures are like that where we're not always the first ones to be accepted into their culture, right?
Agreed.
I don't know if I will agree with that because, once again, just like with all racism, you do have a select few black people who are quick to cancel people out. I won't sit here and say we're if you want to put on the scale, then okay, yeah, we'll probably be in the top 10. But in actuality, I would say no, because we do the same thing. Like if you walk down the street, right, and you see, I'm gonna ask you this, and you see,
Why nobody ask me shit? Damn.
well, because we all know you're open to anything.
No, ask me, damn it, please.
I'm asking Jazz because
God
I've heard.
damn.
No, I'm asking Jazz because I've heard her make this statement before.
Nobody asked me
but
shit.
I have a question for you.
Oh, cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
of
I
course.
want to be
You know
out.
me. I
Put
got
me on the
access.
back burner,
But
please.
for Jazz, if you see a black man with a white girl, are you accepting of that or are you side-eyeing it? Honestly.
This is a podcast. You can speak your truth. It is what it is.
Yeah, no one cares.
We're all speaking the truth here.
I'm
Don't get
like, I guess 50-50 or like 75-25 because I just feel like, because a part of me is like, okay, you can't help who you love. You love this person, you love this person. But at the same time, it's like, is she going to know the type of struggles that black people have? Like, does she really understand? Can she really help you?
But now let me ask you this.
Or he, if it's a white man. I just feel like
I love this conversation.
black people, we've had it hard for generations, and I feel like certain races would not understand unless they're part of like the minority.
Okay, but put it this way. Had you not have seen that was a white woman, like let's say for instance, you not are sitting in a room with both of these two. Lights are off. You can't even see the color of her skin. Mm-hmm. We'll use your brother. He comes in the house, we got doing a little conversation. You hear his girlfriend on the phone. Can't see her face, can't hear nothing. But y'all are having like this conversation. You're loving the conversation. You said, I love her for you. But as soon as she walks through that door and you see the complexion of her skin as a white woman, are you accepting? Or are you looking at it differently because you now see that she's a white woman?
Damn.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm going to.
But you get what I'm saying now, right?
Yeah, but I am going to accept it because it's like I had this conversation with her. I know where her heart is. However, I'm going to not look at her. I'm going to look at my brother like, okay, this is what you like. Like, are you sure you like are you sure?
But see, that's not accepting. If you got
No,
doubts,
but I
you're not
will
accepting
a
it.
little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. I'm
Like,
a
really?
little.
Is this what you want? That's
A
what you
little
want?
tiny bit, and I'm not even knocking like interracial couples
Man.
because I have family who are like from all parts of the world, Filipino, white, like, so I
This is
get
not
it.
a question for me.
I get it, but at
No, I
the
got a
same
question
time,
for you.
it's
I told
like,
you.
how, I don't know. I just feel like if you're not part of a minority, which is, what race that is, it's like you either have the good and the bad. Now, say if this lady grew up and she decided, like, I understand racism and I get this, that, and the third, and she understands the black culture. She understands the black history. She understands all of that. But her family is opposed to everything that she's doing. Are you willing to accept that by accepting her? Are you willing to go through all of that? Like, because now you're dealing with her. You have to deal with her family. Are you going to deal with that?
Me personally,
And
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yes.
Vice
Are
versa.
you going to? Now, and I, even like you said with vice versa, I feel like black people, some of us, because we'll go back to like the slavery time and be like, white people enslaved us or whatever. We don't mess with them white folk, white skin, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I feel like even after that, a lot of us are very like accepting of white people, Spanish people, like all walks of life because of the fact that that's how we are. We were put in a limelight to be monkeys and weird and like not accepting. So it's like I feel like black people, they like, oh, I want you to accept me, or I want you to view me as somebody who is not
judgment just off the color of my
or
skin.
like, yeah,
I'm much
or like,
more
you know,
than just this.
Yes, like
okay, so
I
let me
can
ask you guys this question, because we're all black here. Let's be honest. We all some black motherfuckers up in here. Some of us brighter than others, but as a culture,
I'm the bright one. I knew they'll get a laugh.
But no, are we accepting because that's what we want to be, or are we accepting because that's what we have to do?
Wait, say that again.
Are we accepting because we want to accept other races, or are we accepting other races because we have to? Because that's what we, as a culture, because we've been hindered and we've been kept down for so long, do we have to do that?
Hell no.
No, I think we're accepting because we want to.
Yes.
Even though we've been, handed the shit stick for fucking centuries or whatever like that, we know what it's like to be on that other side. It's the
So we
reason
don't
why
wanna-
when somebody else feel like that when they get handed the end of the fucking stick shit, all right, and they need that hand, we're always the one to be like, look, you're going through the black struggle. It's okay. You can get through it. I think we're a bit more helping and a bit more accepting that way. I think we do it because we want to do it.
Opposed to other races, yes, I definitely agree. I feel like black people are the most accepting.
Black people be blunt sometimes. We be like, if we
Now
don't
there
accept it, we ain't
is
gonna do
a small percentage that's just like heck no, like
yeah, they'll.
I don't
fucking
give a damn,
Yeah,
like,
they stand their ground.
no.
It's like that's
Okay.
not.
and
So what
that's
I-
usually, to me, I feel like there could be some people in our generation, younger generation, but I feel like most of that comes from like our parents or like their grandparents. But a lot of us, even back then, like grandparents that were like have their parents enslaved and stuff, they still made their duty. Not because they had to. Yes, they were enslaved, but there's a lot of people. Okay, let's say when segregation ended or whatever, they could have been on some, okay, F white people now. But a lot of them knew where they came from and was like, you know what? I know my family been through this. I don't want to go through this with you. I don't want to go through this when I have kids. I don't want my kids going through this as well. I'm going to, if you treat me good, I don't care what type of skin color you have. You could be purple.
Do right
but
by
if
me, I do right by you.
Right, right.
Simple as that.
But now
That's what we all should do.
I'm glad you said segregation, because now this is what I mean by the question I posed. Now, for segregation, were we accepting of white people wanting to fight our fight because it was the right thing to do, or were we accepting because we needed those white people behind us as well? Because without those white people that were in the fight with us, we wouldn't have been able to push the agenda as far as we did. That's what I mean by, are we accepting because we have to be, or are we accepting because that's what we genuinely want to do?
I'm a bit confused.
I feel like
I'm
half and
lost.
half. So you're saying like, okay, let's say segregation time, we're trying to fight for equality or whatever, but you have some white people that stand with us black people, and then you have whites that are not. Now the white people that are on the side of black people, whatever, they're fighting, they're protesting, they're doing all this stuff, and then boom, segregation happened. You're saying like, because of the white people, did we do it because we were acceptive and we accepted them to do it, or we're just like, okay, we gotta have these white people on our side so that it can happen? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I feel like it's half and half. Some people are gonna, we need the white people
to help us,
and
but
then
I'm
some
watch
people
mine.
are like, no, if you genuinely feel this is not right and you're standing with us, I accept you, because you get it, you understand, you're not being one-sided, you see all walks of like life, you understand what we're going through. That's why I accept you. I don't accept you because you're a different color than me or you're a different race and I have to bow down to you, but you get me. So if this is what you want to do and you want to fight by me, I'm going to support you.
But that's what I'm saying. I just feel like we've been programmed to do that, like especially coming from like being Americanized black people, that we've been programmed to have to accept people. Because if you look at other cultures, I'm gonna explain like this. Like if you like how y'all said some Spanish people are kind of like segregated against themselves. It's the same thing with, like, I would guess you could say Caribbean cultures. Because if you ask somebody, a Haitian person about a Bayesian person, you know, there's all different types. So they're not accepting of other people. So, but they're also black. But they're not accepting. They don't even accept people of their own complexion. So we can't say black people are the most accepting. Americanized black people have been programmed to want to accept people because, in my opinion, it'll probably go back to a slavery thing. We were given these things, so we had to. They gave us the pig, so we had to eat it. We're not used to eating this animal, but this is what this person is giving it to us. And if we don't eat it, we'll starve and die. So I feel like over the years, we've just been programmed to have to learn to be like, okay, well, we'll accept you into our society, or we'll say, or if you choose to fight with us, we want you to fight with us.
But I think that one's a bit different
I
because
agree.
what it boiled
Okay.
down to was survival. It's like, look, you have two choices: either you eat this fucking pig or you starve and die.
But
Do
it's
you
the
want to
same-
live or do you want to
But
die?
it's the same thing growing up. Either we choose to accept white people into our, not even just white people. Let me just make it clear, because we're not racist, but it's just a genuine conversation with white people. But we have to choose to accept this white person because even though we're the majority, we don't realize it just yet. Because even though now we're starting to realize it, but at the end of the day, let's just be honest: the white man does control all.
Period. Sadly.
Here's how
So
I see
if
it.
we don't accept a certain amount into it, we're then pushing them out, which then gives them the power to want to take us out.
Well,
You know
that
what I'm saying?
goes all around for everybody. It's a give and take deal. Now, when it depends on how you approach it, because like I have, white friends, whatever like that, but I'm not accepting, my white friends to be like my white friends, whatever, just because I'm expecting to get some kind of like benefits long, like,
Or
later.
praise.
Yeah.
Oh no,
years
but that's
down the road or
not what
anything
I'm
like
saying.
that.
I'm saying we don't realize that we're doing it, but we're unintentionally doing it. You
How
get
are we
what I'm saying?
unintentionally doing it?
Because we've been programmed to do it. Because it's a survival instinct for us. If we don't accept this, the worst can happen because of it. And that's just how we've been raised. Like, we've been told that if this white person doesn't act racist, then they're not racist. But we've learned over the years that you don't have to be racist to somebody's face to be racist. You can be racist behind closed doors. So that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying, where it's just like we're not just doing it just because we're programmed just to accept it. I think as an individual, you should be looking at it like, look, I'm accepting you because I saw who you are as a person. I'm accepting you as a person, because at any point you can have somebody who you thought like, wow, I thought this person was this, and it turned out to be a whole nother thing. And then you're like, all right, well, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. Go die. And you separate yourself from them completely.
But
Exit them
then
out.
you regret accepting that person.
You only regret it after the fact that you found out. But it's the same thing on like going.
But that's what I'm saying. You never really know somebody, so we're programmed to have to accept these people because like I said, with other places that are outside of America. If you go to Haiti, Haitians don't really fuck with certain other Caribbean people like that. They don't really fuck with certain other, but they're all.
Or even Black Americans.
That's what I'm saying. But we're all still black. So to say that if you're saying black people are the most accepting, that's not necessarily true, because we have to look at the whole of what a black person is.
All right, then let's bring it.
Because then you're not accepting. You see what I'm saying? You're not accepting those other Caribbean people into that black category. So once again, we're not accepting.
All right, so then let's
Makes
choose.
sense.
Let's choose the next. Okay, let me choose my next words wisely. Then I think that certain black cultures may be a little bit more accepting, because you're talking about Haitians and you're talking about they might not fuck with this person from the Caribbeans or that person from the whatever like that. I think what that boils down to, even though they're all black, but the cultures are different. You know what I'm saying? This culture doesn't really, mesh well with that culture, I would say.
No,
That's what I'm trying to say.
I agree with what you're saying, but I just wanted you to specify because you can't go around like I told you before. You have to be very specific with what you say because if you're sitting here saying all black people are
That is
accepting,
a very damn good fucking case in point because it's the same shit my mom actually said too. You have to be very, very, very meticulous.
Yeah.
I got to use that SAT word. Meticulous with your motherfucking words because if you don't use it wisely and you're not very specific with it, you can spawn this shit right here. And then that's what can cause drama or whatever like that or miscommunication on your behalf.
Yeah. Now I know we kind of understand each other, but I'm gonna still ask you the question anyway.
Fire away. I want somebody to ask me a question. Fire away.
Because we were both raised by black women.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. She's gonna step out and get her food. I don't know why she whispered that.
Yeah, or you could have just texted Brenda to ask her to go get it. She was upstairs. But let me ask you this:
Okay.
raised by black women, what was the one thing your mom always said to you growing up? The number one rule in every black mother's rule to their kids.
Yes, my mother said, "Don't bring home a white woman."
But now,
She has her reasons for saying this.
but
Don't talk shit about my mama.
I'm not talking shit about your
No,
mom. I
I'm
love your
just
mom.
putting it out there. It's like, because
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
like,
no.
oh, well,
But it wasn't just your mom because my mom said the same thing.
This
but,
is a thing in black American cultures.
Yeah,
this
but
is
the
a thing
thing
in
ab-
black America.
But the thing about it is that comes back to what I said before. That's not accepting. If you're accepting, it shouldn't matter what I bring home, mommy, as long as I love her and she treats me like you.
All right, but here's another thing. We actually know some people who actually have a white wife, and the family is accepting. If I believe I'm correct on this, but don't quote me as whatever. But Michael Green, I believe he's married to a white woman. His parents are both black. We play recreation basketball with him. He's married to a white woman. Have a kid with a white woman. They're accepting.
But that's what I'm saying. It's but like I said, it's a mixture. You always in all race, ethnicity, however you want to put it, in all of those, there's always going to be
A select few that does this,
and
a select few that does that.
So it's just like you can't say that we're the number one because
All
no,
right.
we also have that select few. So I would say you could bring your food and
Yeah,
just don't
it's-
munch on the, just don't chew on the mic. Yeah,
Yeah, girl, look, that's, she
eat
gonna
your
go
food,
running
girl.
back and forth to get a French fry. Bring the food.
Just put some of that.
Think the radio? Like, we don't give a shit. It's our show. We can do what the fuck we want.
right?
We pay for this
I
subscription.
mean, after it's over, because we not gonna keep getting up and
you
walking
got
away.
pizza and French fries.
No, she got a stromboli.
Why do they keep putting it in the fucking pizza box? We're so off
Because
topic.
you got to see
but
how
it's
big it
just, what the
is. Look
fuck?
how big it is. You think
Motherfuckers got containers for this.
that can't fit no container?
Yeah, the hell it can. Or chop it up in half and stack it on one another. That shit look good in the motherfucker. Stop talking shit about it.
But no, but you know what's crazy, and it kind of goes in. This actually comes into another topic that I actually had at work because I was talking to one of my coworkers, and we were talking about dating outside your race, but then that person's mixed. So here's my question to both of you guys: if it comes down to mixed race or biracial couples, why is the line for them different in dating than it is for somebody who's fully black? Like if you don't look like if you see somebody who's mixed race, it's not really like
A big deal.
yeah. Where it's like if you or I were to date a white woman, people was looking at us like, what's wrong with you? You don't like black women? You know the speech.
Yeah. It's pretty tricky to answer because I actually have the same, thought process too. When because my mom, we was like watching something or whatever, and the person was British and it was the white man. She's like, he's with the white man. I'm like, well, he's British. And she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, he's British. A lot of white people is in like London. It's. I'm not surprised to see a British black person with a white woman. I'm like, this is like the norm there. It's not that big deal, but it's that same kind of thing. So to answer your question, I don't know. I guess since it's because like, all right, well, somebody in your family was brave enough to take this risk, you have that, I guess, extra advantage or leadway for you to do it with somebody else of a different race. It's just like, well, you're kind of already halfway there.
But that's but why though?
I don't know.
Like that, because I've always thought that was dumb and weird to me, because it's like they're still black, so why is it okay for them to go straddle the fence, but if I go try to date a white girl, I'm looked at as I don't like my own people? I mean, I'm not, I've never dated or been with a white girl. I'm just personally not attracted to them. So it's just, it is what it is. But fun people, we could be friends, but me dating you and sleeping with you not gonna happen. Just my preference. But it always like baffled me, because it was like even I do it sometimes where I'm like, and I thought about it when it was brought up, because it was like, that is interesting, because if you did date somebody, I know I personally would be like, because the color of your skin, I'd be like, hey, you're black, you shouldn't be dating that other person. But you are mixed race, and other people will be like, but they're mixed, so why does it matter?
Yeah, it's so I do not have an answer.
I was not thinking about that until you said something.
Legit,
that's a good question.
Don't have an answer.
Don't know.
If you guys actually have an answer to this question, please put some comments or whatever when we're done with this episode, because I really want to know what you guys think about this, because I have no idea how to answer that one.
If you're black, you're black. Date.
That's her stamp.
Pro black.
You're black.
So then,
if you like who you like, then you like who you like.
So let me ask you this: for your kids, what are you trying to teach your kids?
I'm trying to teach my kids to be a good all-around person. So when it comes,
I'm talking about dating wise.
Dating wise,
yeah, dating wise,
same thing. It's like, if you like this person, then you like this person. You can't change attraction. It's the nature. You like what you like. There's no changing that. You changing that means you're not being true to yourself. And if you're not being true to yourself, I'm going to have a problem with that. That's where my problem's going to come in at. But to tell my kids like not to date other races, I can't say that. I'm just going to say, look, you need to know what you're getting into. You're not just going to be dating, Rebecca or fucking Ariana or whatever like that. Okay. You're going to be marrying a woman or dating a woman of a different different ethnicity, different culture. You're going to meet their family, and it's going to be different from yours. Not everybody is going to accept you, and you have to understand that. And the same thing for her. Not everybody on our side, because I know on my side, you're going to have a hard time, girl. you might have a rough road. It's not going to accept them, right? But if you both truly, truly love each other and you're willing to put up with it, then by all means do you. I wouldn't be mad. If this makes you truly happy and you're living your life with somebody that you love and you're doing right by her, she's doing right by you, I succeeded as a father. Anybody else can go take a shit.
Jazz, what about you?
What's black is black.
I was going to say, I would want my children to date black kings and queens. However, if they just so happen to step outside their race, I just want them to know their history, their background history, as far as being a black person, being, my black child, as well as the history of whatever race you're dating. Do you agree with that person's culture when you get around their family? Do you agree with the things that they do, the things that they say? Do you see yourself fitting into that?
Yeah.
If you feel like, okay, this is weird, this ain't it, like,
get out.
Right, like,
you tried.
Tell me, Ma, I tried, it didn't work, or Ma, they are weird, and I'm gonna say, yeah, baby, okay. I knew, but I just wanted you to, you wanted to touch
weird.
The waters.
The waters.
But me, I would kind of want my children to date black, but that's
just
me.
easier.
Because
it's just easier.
It's just easier.
No, because that's just me. Like, I just really, I don't know. I feel like black people are great.
For me, I would.
However, if you're dating a minority, the rule still applies. Like, do you see yourself fit in their culture and all that stuff. Like I don't know. I don't want to say. I'm trying to figure out how to say it without sounding crazy.
You don't sound crazy.
But
That's
I
your
would-
kid.
yeah. Anybody got a
would-
problem to tell them go take a shit? Like I just said.
Go
I
outside.
would
That's the
definitely
first
want
thing.
my child. I'm not saying that if they were to bring home a white person or if they was to bring home a Asian person or something, I'm going to be mad. I'm just gonna be like, okay, this is okay. Are you sure? Like, I'm really gonna question. Are you positive? Are you sure?
Hit him with the. Are you ready for this?
I have no problem with my child dating outside of their race. However, I would just prefer them to date a black king or queen.
Well, for me, it'll come down to, because I look at it as what's the reason, and this just comes down to anybody. I don't care if you're black, white, purple, black, green.
Said black twice. Black, white, purple, black. Do you not know any other race?
I don't know, green, yellow, orange. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know the other colors of the race. Black, white, green, purple, black. Continue.
See, we love black. We love black.
What's black is black.
But no, it's what's the agenda behind this person dating you? Like, are they dating you for you, or are they dating you to gain
Right.
something out of it? Because one thing that I have noticed, and you know, this is my opinion, and personally, I don't give a damn if the clan comes after me. I don't give a fuck, because I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Not that clan.
Oh.
Not that clan.
Oh, I'm like, I don't want the fucking clan coming after me right now. I'm not.
I'm
beat for
talking
this
about the
shit.
Kardashian clan.
Okay, that's different.
Because
That's
I'm about to say
different.
something that I kind of speculate.
I'm not convinced
and
they're humans.
And something I've heard other people say as well, because they say that they're dating black because they want to boost their own agenda or boost their own network or use it for their popularity, because now that they have a child that's mixed race and that child gets to grow up and be mixed race, we're more in tuned with them a little bit deeper. Like with Northwest, we're paying attention to what she does because she is black. Where had she just been another Kardashian, because Courtney has kids. Do we pay attention to what any of them are doing?
That's so funny because the Kardashian West
Sorry,
kids,
Courtney.
like especially Saint West, like oh my gosh, she is so freaking.
But see,
adorable.
we're
It's so
tuned
cute. And
in.
It's like I'm
But
I'm
with
so tuned
Courtney's
into him.
kids, we don't give a damn.
It's the
However,
it's celebrity.
Penelope, her I know she has like I think 4 kids, 4 kids, but one of them, Penelope, that's my girl. However, I would never known her if I didn't like tune into the Kardashian family.
I
But
don't know none
the
of
fact
them.
that
But even think
Kim
about this.
had kids with Kanye and they are black, I definitely agree. Like, okay, Kim got some mixed race babies. Like, them babies is
I'm
black.
gonna be honest with you. I didn't even know Kylie and what's the other one? The Jenner? The other one?
I thought it was just Kylie.
It was Kylie. The other Jenner doesn't have a baby.
No, I'm saying don't have a baby. But I didn't even know they existed. I knew Kim.
Kendall and Kylie.
Kendall and Kylie. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know they were.
Are they Kardashians?
They're
They're
part of the
Jenners.
They're Jenners, but they're part of the Kardashian clan.
See,
but
this
you
clan
did.
don't make no sense to me. Are you a Kardashian? You Jenner? I don't
because
know.
their mother is Caitlyn.
But think about it
Caitlyn.
like this.
Caitlyn
When did
is
you start
married
paying
to,
attention to Kylie? When did we all start paying attention to Kylie?
She was on when I was dating Tiger.
My point exactly.
I still don't pay
Well,
attention to her. I really don't give a
and,
flying
when,
fuck.
Father.
and Kendall, we didn't really start tuning in until she started messing. I think didn't she date ASAP?
I don't know.
But I
don't
know
think
they
so.
dated a lot of athletes. So we, like I said, we don't
Kendall-
start. But Kim started it. She noticed, because if you think about it, Kim did it first with Kim did it with
Ray
Reggie
J.
Bush. Well, Ray J didn't Reggie, but she didn't have a lot of butt. But if you pay attention, Courtney then started doing the same thing. Not Courtney. Chloe started doing the same thing. She started dating black, and people started tuning into Chloe a little bit more.
And Kylie.
Kylie and all of them, they notice that when you start messing with somebody that's black, the attention that you get from dating that black celebrity boosts your fame. So now if we have kids with these black celebrities, that's going to boost us up even more. Because now more people are tuned in, more people are paying attention to what you're doing. Are you doing the little girl's hair? Is her nails done? Are you keeping her, keeping her okay? Like, people are more tuned in more.
I cannot do that to my kids.
But that's what I'm saying.
Put them in the
Like,
limelight like that. They too
if you
young.
start seeing that she's growing her net worth off of you, then don't date that person. But that to me goes along with any race. But it's just like with certain races, just be more aware. If it's outside your race, just be a little bit more aware that what you can bring to them. Just pay attention to that. Like, if you feel as though their agenda is just to use you to boost themselves up, then you need to leave that situation.
Same thing in your own race.
Because that's why I said in all races. But see, the thing about it is Kanye just realized too late. He realized too late.
I ain't really
he
too much
did.
for Kanye. So
Listen, I still fuck with
Free
Kanye.
Kanye. We love him.
He out now, man. Kanye free.
Nah, he's still stuck.
He ain't
a
stuck.
bit.
He out. He out to some place. He divorced. He in Wisconsin.
Just because he out of that Kardashian curse, that don't mean he out for real. For real.
I mean, it's going to take some time for him to come back. You know what I'm saying? Did you see the movie Get Out? He ain't stopped sinking for a little bit. It took him a while before he unsunk himself.
that ain't my beef with him, but ego's a lot deeper with my beef.
But yeah, this has been a very interesting subject. You want to close this out?
Honestly, I really don't have anything else to say. I don't have a good outro. You usually do this. Close this. I started it. You close it. At least do that.
All right, I'm in the background, so I guess I'll do
Just
it.
listen to his voice.
Well, that's been another episode of the Not Exactly Kids podcast.
That's the best you can do, motherfucker.
I'm
Oh, Jesus.
not done.
Okay, finish. You better
That
be
was-
good.
That's
It
how
better
you
be good.
Oh,
It
sweet
better be
fucking
good.
Jesus.
Anything
You know
else
what?
you want to say?
That's
Lord,
it. I'm
that
done.
was-
That's
that was
it.
very
It's
spicy.
over.
Oh,
Over.
oh, now you're the
Podcast
one
over.
quitting the show,
Nah,
huh?
Fuck out of here. Eat a dick. This is why you watch bicycle anime. Fuck this. Have a nice day. Well, Yank, that's another episode done. Another one down for the books.
And no fish left on the hook.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. We must be done.
Not exactly kids. We will finish.